Hi everyone. We always hate to speak after lunch, but I hope you woke up a little bit. You were standing for quite some time, and we'll just try to keep you awake now. Uh, Before we start, can you just do me a big favor and just let me know, do you recognize this logo and what it stands for? Can you just raise your hand if you do? Yeah? Okay. We see some hands up, some don't, but that's okay because we also want to introduce you first to a little bit of context, what is it about and how it's important to our story, and then we also dive deeper into some of the details. My name is Lazar. I'm here with my colleague Rastko. We are coming from Belgrade, Serbia, from MSG Economy, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit about how everything started from here and how something which is called Hybris is a stepping stone for the evolution which happened in the last couple of years. So if you know about this logo, you most likely know about Hybris Commerce as a term or as a solution. And usually when you think of it from a traditional SAP ERP perspective, it was positioned as a front office alone. However, that is not quite true because Hybris Commerce, judging by the name of it, you can know that it stands mostly for the commerce processes, and that is how it all started. But if you think about the front office, involves quite a lot of activities and much more than the commerce itself. So when you want to sell the products online, you also need to think about how, the marketing efforts and the CRM activities which go along with that. Sometimes the sales itself is quite complex and you cannot do it online directly, but you have to have a specialized sales force to do that, and that's why you need to cover their specific needs as well. And then when simply closing the deal, that's not the end of it, and you need to think about how to actually focus on the post sales process and actually provide a better good customer service. So that's how we perceive the front office and how we should also look at it. So much more beyond the commerce itself. So what SAP did over time is it tried to accumulate some solutions which should cover all of these functionalities and all of these processes. So some of them you may already know. We already mentioned Hybris Commerce, but after some time, Hybris Marketing originated. We had for quite some time before that Cloud for Customer, which was covering sales and service aspects, and we also had Hybris Billing. And in this moment, this portfolio was all built under the Hybris name or the Hybris brand, although the technologies behind it are not actually Hybris. Some of them are SAP native, so such as marketing, which has the NetWeaver beneath, or now it's moving over to Hana and so on. But it's important that although this portfolio was established and used quite a lot and promoted a lot, if you think about how SAP positioned it, it had a digital core, how it called, or S/4HANA in place, and some other satellite portfolios, which should contribute to the overall story. And that is also how the Hybris portfolio was positioned. And what happened over time? So this portfolio, although being quite rich in its capabilities, is part of the whole customer experience area, and this is the one which usually faces the innovation first. So that's why it evolves quite fast and it evolves quite a lot. And what has happened over time, there have been some additional solutions, some additional companies which gained quite a big visibility and actually got to SAP radar. And what happened? So then SAP tried to buy them, of course. So besides the original portfolio which was there and the solution which it included, it performed a series of acquisitions where the most notable names are Gigia, Calidus Cloud, and Core Systems. We will see later what they're all about. But what is important here that although the Hybris brand alone was quite powerful and quite present, that was the same case for all the other three. And somehow, if you think about it from a strategic perspective and from a marketing perspective, you cannot really sacrifice one brand for the other, and they would basically clash in a way. So this is the one motivation for SAP to actually change some things. On the other side, if you think about a front office, it's quite a competitive arena where you have a lot of companies actually positioning their solutions. And if you think about a brand, SAP has probably the largest brand out of all the previous ones. And then simply SAP defined a little bit different strategic approach, how they would encompass all of these solutions previously in the front office area and make plans for the future as well. And that's how actually something called C4HANA was born. So I'm not sure how all of you know about or have heard already about it, but essentially what was there before and what was complemented with these additional acquisitions was all put into the C4HANA portfolio. Some of the solutions have been simply renamed, rebranded. Some of them have been actually, or will have to be adjusted. And this is something which was announced this year. So now for the future, when you hear C4HANA, you can also think of it as the front office portfolio of SAP. And it also has a name, customer experience. So either C4HANA or customer experience. What is important here? So what was previously known as Hybris Marketing became SAP Marketing Cloud. So covering all the marketing and CRM related activities. What was known as Hybris Commerce was simply SAP Commerce Cloud. What was known as Cloud for Customer, but the sales piece of it, together with Calidus, became SAP Sales Cloud, because Calidus Cloud, the company, it has quite a few solutions in its portfolio, but the most powerful ones are in the sales space and in the area of incentives and commissions, and also the configuration of complex products. So that's why it went here. The Service Cloud consists of two major portions now. The one was what was previously known as Cloud for Service, with additions of core system solutions, where core systems, which was one of the acquisitions, focuses on the sales for on the service force, or the technicians which you send out on the field, which need to do the repairs and everything. Gigia company renamed its solution to SAP Customer Data Cloud, and it focuses on customer data management, customer identity management, data privacy, and all those topics which are important for the end customer. All backed up by SAP Cloud Platform, and something which is and will be even more tighter integrated with the S4HANA portfolio. So, but this is the rebranding piece and the initial step of the strategy. What has significantly changed, which is maybe not that visible, is how SAP positions this portfolio now. And that is not as a supporter to this S4HANA, but actually as quite an equal partner to it, and it moved from the supporter role to enable role in a way. So now it's in size, it's quite big big portfolio. It's not small anymore, but it's also one of the vital pieces in SAP portfolio for how they call it digital and intelligent enterprise. Of course, if you read all the marketing materials, you will always find it has seamless integration, but we all know that seamless integration doesn't actually exist, but that's the idea of it, and that is also something where all the future developments will go to make this more tighter connection. We'll focus on some of the integration aspects today, but of course it's hard to cover everything, but we just want to scratch the surface here and open up some new topics which we may want to focus in the future and on the future editions of this conference as well. From the process perspective, although the idea of the front office was always to enable end-to-end process, now it has much more capabilities than before. So the idea is that you can really have an end-to-end process, but not simply rely on S4HANA as the main piece, but that now C4HANA provides some additional capabilities which do not have to be in the S4HANA stack below at all. So that they can really provide consistent experience from end to end on all channels mostly. What is now the question? Okay, so what are we going to talk about today here? So we could talk about this for days, most likely, but the idea is to focus on only some relevant pieces that we want. So again, if we take a look at the whole portfolio, maybe the most widespread solution of them all is the Commerce Cloud, or what was known previously as Hybris Commerce. So today we would like to focus our storyline on this one and present you the capabilities it has when it comes to integration, and also how it stands for in the combination with S4 on some more concrete examples. Just as a reminder, so we talked about last year about Hybris Commerce or SAP Commerce Cloud now, but just as a reminder, so it's mostly built as or intended to be a holistic platform, which would first give you the possibility to develop any kind of enterprise web applications, but it's mostly known in the e-commerce area. Then it's made as a customer experience platform as well, so that you can really facilitate and enable multiple channels to which your customers, to which the customers are approaching the company. That it's of course meant to be integrated, and it's meant to orchestrate all the customer-facing activities between the backend systems and the customer itself. And of course, it's one bigger difference when compared to the traditional ERP and SAP systems is that it's really meant to be extensible. So you can literally tear it apart and build something that you want. Of course, you have some cost factor to it, but technically you can do that, and it allows you easily to do that. When looking at it from a functional perspective, okay, it has some technical foundation, of course, but Commerce Cloud comes also with a product content management capabilities. So if you think about what does Amazon do, what does Alibaba do, and these kind of giants, so they really need to have a rich product editing capabilities and product management capabilities, and this is something which this platform provides as well. Next to that, you have to have ways and mechanisms how you can easily search and merchandise the products. You can do also some of these user-oriented activities as well. That then it provides the essential commerce capabilities that you can actually browse the product, choose them, buy them in the end, and have them delivered also. And this is done by this order management module and order management capabilities. You have to have some integration to the backend because most likely the company buying Commerce Cloud or Hybris Commerce will have quite an extensive investment in the backend portfolio prior to this one. It's meant to be mobile and to support different mobile devices, but it also has content management capabilities. So the web content which the customers are actually seeing, it's something that you can edit and change and maintain through this solution as well. And it also has quite a few touch points for the customer service because it's something which is both online, needs to be somehow maintained by the customer service department. So all of these functionalities are grouped into some smaller modules. So these are not SAP modules as you may know them. So they are much smaller in size and much more easier to combine. And how Hybris, what's the market strategy of Commerce Cloud, sorry. It's essentially to give you these building blocks, and then it leaves it up to you to decide how you want to use the building blocks on the implementation project. So you can take the blocks, you have some instructions, you have some idea, and you can combine them on your own in your specific commerce processes, or you can use something which Hybris calls accelerators. So accelerator is simply a template off-the-shelf solution or commerce store which you can use, and it combines all of these functionalities and all of these modules into a certain set of meaningful scenarios which you normally see. So the shopping experience you may have on Amazon, on any similar e-commerce website is something which Commerce Cloud gives you out of the box, but it essentially serves as a starting point for any of the implementations. We would like to briefly share a few words about them before we move on into maybe a little bit heavier topics, and this is what Rastko will take over.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, is this working? Cool. Okay, so as Lazar said, the point of Accelerator is that Hybris, or now SAP Customer Experience Commerce Cloud, already created some set of functionalities for the customers that are ready to use. Now, not all industries are so flexible to support one single solution, and therefore Hybris invented these specific accelerators. Now, we can, specific accelerators that are meant to reflect a specific industry. Now, we can take a look at it, for example, do you know probably everybody about Barbie dolls? Mostly the girls from here, yeah. So when you take a comparison, the accelerators towards Barbie dolls, you know that pretty much all the dolls are the same. So they have the same body, they have hands, they have the same hair. But what you actually do with them, you dress them up and you play with them like that. You can change their clothes. Now, Hybris Commerce Core and Platform are something like the Barbie doll, while the different outfits are actually the different accelerators for different industries. Now we will focus.
I'm amazed by your example, I must say.
This was something, yeah, came into my mind today. To go back from where we started, we were saying that Financial Services Accelerator will be our focus today and its integration. So first of all, we will show just a little bit what Financial Services Accelerator is all about, shortened FSA, and what it consists of. So because it should support financial services industry, it's more or less a broad term. We can differentiate banking and insurance industry over there. So therefore, we do have two stores in the same accelerator. That is one for banking and one for insurance with respective sample data and sample content. When it comes to banking, we have a specific type of checkout. And what a checkout is, it's basically a flow how you fill in an application online for a certain product. Is it a loan or a credit card or applying for a direct debit or something else? It has, of course, specific styling to it, specific banking flavor, and it has sample products. So as I've said, it has sample products like personal loans, like credit cards, checking accounts, and so on. For the insurance store, the story is similar. However, insurance store has longer been public and has longer been built on, so it has a bit of more features. Besides the standard quotation applications and quotation flows, we also have the possibility to create a claim straight on the portal. So when you create a policy for a respective policy, you can also create its claim. You can search for an insurance agent, whether it is on a list, or you can find them on a map and find a specific insurance branch where your insurance agent is working on. And of course, you can retrieve a quote or you can retrieve a claim in case you've started filling it and then the electricity goes down like now. Your data would be saved and you can continue working on it when the power gets back on, just like we got back on the same slide. What would be the key points of the FSA entirely? So we have the configurable checkout, and that is also demonstrated through separate checkouts for separate products. So we have separate applications for separate products that can be completely configured by a customer on a project. So for example, if you have a specific product, if an insurance company have a specific product and a specific type of insurance, you can easily create your own application process. You can easily adapt it to your needs. Also, we have rich self-service, which means that an end customer can easily get an overview of his policies. He can even see the premium calendar to see when his policy or his premium is due to be paid. He can retrieve the quotes, retrieve the policies. So there are many things that a customer and end user can work on. And maybe the main focus, the main thing what we will be focusing on today is the integration with SAP backend that it has in place, integration with S4I suite, and also plenty integration spots, integration possibilities that are left for the insurance companies. It is also built in a way that it can be connected to not only S4I, but also different backend solutions. And I'll hand it over to Lazar.
Yeah, so just a short recap. So we started from C for Hana, and the whole portfolio, we narrowed it down to Commerce Cloud. We have now give you a little bit of introduction about one of the accelerators, so one of the industry solutions built on Commerce Cloud. Why? Simply so we can show you on a real example how this integration can look like. That's why we need a little bit of context. But of course, we do want to also give you an overview of how can you integrate it first before we show you some real-world examples, simply so you know what are the possibilities there. When we move on to this side. So when we think about integration in general, we can think about from two perspectives. One is about simple data and information exchange. So import of or exchange of master data between Commerce Cloud solution and the S4I backend, customers, products, and all those things which we are aware of. We can have the transactional data exchanged. Those can be orders, those can be also quote, in the insurance case, policies, claims, and so on. But we can also have the process integration available. Some quick ad hoc calls to simply fetch some information and fetch some data. All of these can be fulfilled in a different way. So that's why we have separated like this, and we'll show you. But, okay. I can remove this one. Yeah. So that's one side of the story. The other side is you think about that we are working in a customer experience area. So it's not only about getting the data in, it's also about pushing the data out. Because commerce is the closest to the customers, but customers can also have different devices with them, mobile applications. They can go into the physical stores where the staff can have those in-store tablets and they guide you along the way and so on. And that's why the idea is that, if you remember, Commerce Cloud was built to orchestrate all the customer-facing activities, and therefore it needs to have the way to also expose the data to outside world. So it's not only keeping it to itself. So that's why there is another aspect of integration which maybe is not so typical to the backend system, because this one is actually exposing the data to the end customers directly and to their to any other channel, any other device which may come in the future. When it comes to the first part, Commerce Cloud comes with a so-called framework, so-called IMPEX framework, which is used to get the data in and get the data out on the database level. So without getting too much into details, the idea is that you have certain CSV-based files which you put inside a Hybris Commerce or Commerce Cloud, and that those data get into the database like that. However, in order to really get it into that format, you need to have some ETL tool in place. So something in between that will know how to get the data from some source, combine it, transform it into the commerce format, and then put it back in. And this part actually is something where you can have different options. So we are here talking about data replication in a way, importing data into Hybris, into commerce, sorry. How it happened from in the history. So initially, you had to build it on your own. So that's how the project usually did. At some moment, something called Data Hub has been introduced. If you worked with PI or PO module solutions of SAP or modules, you will know that it serves more or less the similar purpose. So it's a middleware which is in charge of getting the data from the source, transforming it, and putting it back to the format which Commerce Cloud expects. However, when moving more and more into the cloud, this has changed in the way. So this is quite heavy if you think about it from the integration perspective. So cloud is all about APIs all over the place. So that's why Commerce is now introducing this API-based integration. I can lower my tone a little bit. This API-based means that that on Commerce side, you're building APIs which are not directly related to the data model which you have inside. So this is something more friendlier to the surrounding systems, but it needs to have, again, some kind of a middle layer in place, and now it's used the SAP Cloud Platform integration for this. So CPI is the tool that will be used not only for commerce, but it's also used for many other SAP systems. So, and the idea behind it, you may guess it, you may not, but to have a same experience for integrations across all the SAP solutions. That is, use the cloud platform, use the CPI, and all the solutions communicate through it. That's at least the vision how it should be like. Right now, what is actively used are these two, so I'll just share a quick few words about it, just in case you sometimes run into these terms. So the Data Hub, something which is now deprecated in a way, but still heavily used due to the customer base. So it's a service-based solution where the idea is to give him the data, it knows how to transform it and put it back into some output format. Simply speaking, extract, transform, load, the same process which exists for quite some time. But the idea is that you get data into something we call Hybris, now we call it Commerce Cloud. And since it was developed for some time, it has quite a few pre-packaged integration, not only to ERP, to S/4HANA, to CRM, but to also other solutions from the same portfolio. However, now, since we are moving into the API-enabled integration, here we have a slightly different approach. So if you ever worked with OData and how the NetWeaver gateway exists, which exposes the OData services, it's a similar way here. So you don't need to know the data model of Commerce Cloud, or the solution, the other systems don't need to know that, but you are building some generic integration objects which know how to put the data into the data model below it. But it's more business oriented, so it's not that technical. And this is the foundation for this API-based integration. Simply, you have different tools how you can do this, so you can configure it. So it's moving more past the development, but towards the configuration. And simply from the process perspective, how it looks like. You have different systems sending the data in whatever way to CPI, so Cloud Platform Integration. Then it shoots out a OData service to Commerce Cloud, and it hits this API which was defined, and then the data is stored, simply speaking. It also has the other direction as well. So from Hybris or from Commerce Cloud, you can send out through the same API request to other systems, but the idea is that they all go through the CPI, so the CPI does the mapping, does the transformation, whatever it needs to do, and then puts the data either into SAP ERP, S4 HANA, CRM, whatever is there. But it's also important to know that Commerce is essentially a web application, and it's meant to be integrated in many other ways. So you can always use some simple custom-built web services if you want. So you really can integrate in any way you want. The previous slide about inbound and outbound APIs is the way to go and is recommended, but on projects we usually see that there is quite a lot of custom development when it comes to web services, and it's used for some ad hoc communication with other systems. This is on the side of data import, data export, but Commerce is all about orchestrating this information and putting it out to the public or to whomever is interested. And for that, it has its own REST layer or API layer on top, where, let's say, a typical example is you are building up a mobile application, but you want that all your product content, all your core commerce processes are being put into the Commerce Cloud, and the devices are simply invoking its functionalities. So in a way, you're exposing business or commerce logic. It's not only about exposing the data, but actually exposing the processes, so that then you can have multiple channels all communicating with Commerce Cloud, and that way you will provide to all the customers the same experience and same level of service. Yeah, and of course, with anything, and like anything with Commerce, you can easily, or it's meant to be extensible and integrated. Maybe it's not that obvious how important this is, but if you think about it, you spend a lot of months and maybe even sometimes years implementing Commerce Cloud solution, and you build up your own web content, those nice UI, nice looking things. You have your product content available. You build up quite a sophisticated commerce logic inside of it, which does the calculation of the prices, which does the order management, and then what? So if you want to do this from the mobile, if you're using some other solution, maybe you will have to rebuild this on your mobile as well. The idea with this layer, so-called OCC layer, is that you can simply expose all of this, which you have implemented here, into some other channels. In case you don't want to do that, Hybris will still offer you the accelerator, which Rastko explained, which will actually be like a template store, template UI, which is production ready, which you can actually use. So that's the idea behind it. So let's say here we don't have it displayed, but backend gives you the data, you get all the information, then you have the commerce logic inside of Commerce Cloud, you have your pre-built sample accelerator, which will give you the UI and the possibility for your customers to access it. But just in case you want to extend to any other distribution channel, you can do that through this API layer. So that is how, if you think of the initial diagram with the platform, that is how the commerce gets the data and exposes it back out to other consumers. Now, I'm not sure how we're standing with time because we had some slight delay. Maybe we can speed it up a little bit, but
I'll do my best.
Yeah. So the idea is that now we saw the C4HANA, Commerce Cloud, and the accelerator. What is it all about? What are the integration capabilities? And just to make it a little bit more concrete, we want to show you how this looks like in the example of the Financial Services Accelerator, which is something which will maybe give a good summary on the overall story. So
Thanks, Lazo. Before I was talking about those applications that we have for different products that FSA provides. So in here we have an example of how a checkout flow or how this application looks like for a specific product, and that is savings insurance. So if you want to save for your retirement or save for any other cause, you have the possibility to do so by opening a savings account within the FSA. And first thing you got to do is you have to provide some kind of details inside of it. Now, when you fill this form, probably each savings account will be different for each person. Therefore, some calculation needs to happen in order for you to get the price in the end. So how much money I will get after my saving period ends. In here, we have an integration spot in place for a quotation engine, and that is, for example, FS Quo or FS Pro can be in there to support this process. Hybris inside of it, or FSA inside of it, has already a mocked engine, but this is usually replaced on a customer project by some backend system that does the calculation. Now, this is not it, because when you are applying for example, coverage, maybe you would like to add a sub-coverage to it as well. And when you are adding a sub-coverages, you also have to recalculate the price over and over again. This is where, again, an integration spot is in place for the quotation engine to jump in and to do the magic, basically. While we're doing this, our quote is in insurance terms still not bound. So the insurance provider doesn't have to guarantee that he will give you the exact price that is displayed on the screen. But if you proceed through the application, you can bind your quote, and by then, when you get the final number, the insurance provider has to say, okay, you have your binded quote, we have to pay you this amount of money. This is also a place where a quotation engine comes and does also the calculation to make sure that the real price is displayed. On top of this, we also have a place, of course, for a payment provider, because as any e-commerce process, you have to pay something in the end when you're paying on Amazon or wherever. This is one location where a payment provider comes in place. Also, FSA has a mocked payment provider inside that will be replaced by an actual one on an implementation project. Since we are talking about the FS industry and the policy has to be created eventually, there is another integration spot in place for the policy creation that is usually done by FSPM or a similar module, and this is the exact place where it can be put on the finalization of the quote. Also, the policy PDF can be rendered after the policy has been successfully created. These were the integration spots only for something that is called product origination. So for when you want to apply for a product. There are also several other spots inside of the FSA where you can place integration with a backend system. One of those is the premium calendar that I've been talking about. So usually the calculations about the premiums are done by FSPM, for example, and then this information can be just pulled out and displayed in the FSA. Another integration spot that we are actually working towards enabling the real integration at the moment is integration with FSCM or with claims management. I've said also in the beginning that FSA has the possibility to create a claim for a specific policy. We want to make it happen that after you submit a claim, the real the claim has been created not only in the FSA but also in some backend systems such as FSCM or claims management, and this is done so by using this SAP CPI or cloud platform integration layer that Lazar was talking about. And if I find the pointer, yeah. So the CPI layer is actually this one in the middle that does the transformation and the mapping towards this backend system. When it comes to the real integrations, something that FSA comes with, we have already the FS policy management integration, and that is all the policies that are created in the backend, in the system, can easily be imported also to the FSA so that they can be shown to the end customer. There is also another module that SAP uses across the entire S4I suite, and that is FSBP, or business person. In here, we can show how actually the process goes when we try to import a user from the SAP backend. So the user is imported, by first it has to be created on our portal as well. How we do it is by collecting some basic information about the user, and then the relevant information that are making the user unique are actually its first, last name, its email, and its date of birth. Based on those info, we are sending a request for BP number inside of the FSBP. And what happens if the BP is found over there, we get the BP number, shoot it back to the FSA, and we store it over there so that we have a positive match. If the BP doesn't exist, FSBP is creating another business partner, and then we also get the BP number back, and they are linked together. So this is one very simple example how an integration looks like on FSBP module. Now, the general overview of what FSA's capabilities currently are and what is to come in the near future is that we have some integration spots that I was talking about, and also we have some existing integrations. The integration spots are, as I've said, so the quotation management, payment provider, premium calendar, and PM and CM integrations, while the existing integrations are for the policy management, but only the inbound way, and business partner that I've showed on the previous slide. What is planned for the future is that the ethanol integration or integration with claims module, it's this one, inbound and outbound, be enabled, and also, yeah, that is the claim replication.
Just for the sake of time, I would speed up and maybe highlight you some key points. So first of all, we talked about C4HANA. So C4HANA is a front office, combines quite a few solutions, and it's actually quite complex in nature, and it will be even more with the upcoming years. So it all started with the commerce piece, with the core commerce processes, and many of them mistake it as the only piece in the front office which actually communicates to the SAP backend, but it's not. So we have those one related to marketing, to the complex sales done by the Salesforce sales agents, but we also have the service and customer support process there. And it's positioned now, and it will be positioned as quite an important piece in the SAP portfolio, so there will be much more focus on it, I would say, than it was in the last years. We try to focus it and give you some meaningful pieces around one of the components of the portfolio, which is the Commerce Cloud, and we try to highlight you the integration capabilities, simply to illustrate how important it is for such a solution, which belongs to this customer experience portfolio, that it has more than one or more than few possibilities to connect to backend systems, but also to some other systems, mobile applications, mobile devices, and simply so that we don't talk only about regular B2C industry and B2C process, which you, I guess, have already experienced with, at least as an end consumer, how you buy the product, add it to the cart, pay for it, and then wait for the order to arrive. We try to showcase you one alternative, which is the Financial Services Accelerator. So all those concepts which Rastko talked about are essentially are following the same principles. So you are again browsing the product, you're again purchasing this product, only that the procedure takes a little bit longer, and that idea is that it's not only a portal, which is one of the myths that exists there, but it's actually a whole one comprehensive solution where you have the functionalities oriented towards the end customers, but you need to always communicate and jump back and forth the backend systems so you can actually achieve this end-to-end process. So just for the sake of time and slightly because of the electricity, we would wrap this up here. But in case you have any questions around any aspects of the C4HANA portfolio, feel free to approach us. We'll be here probably for a few more hours, so we'll be quite happy to talk with you about this. So thank you, and sorry for these interruptions with the Barbie dolls and electricity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just as a highlight, so we have this feedback app which was already announced. So in case you have something to share about the conference, about the presentation alone, feel free to either scan the barcode or go to this URL. So, any questions maybe? Yep. It's so both. So actually, that's SAP solution, but Rastko and me are part of the team which is actually building it. So we are, in a way, acting as an internal SAP team doing this industry-specific solution. So what SAP is going for in the next years is that all the industry-specific solutions will go to partners. So the partners who have the expertise in this industry will actually develop it, but the SAP is the one who owns the IP rights to it. I think that now it's most noticeable in the C4HANA space, but I feel that this is a general approach which SAP is going for. And there have been also some organizational changes inside of SAP, where you had quite a few so-called industry business units (IBU), which structure changed a lot, and it's trying to relieve the overhead work inside of SAP. Is trying to relieve the overhead work and move it over to partners so they can be in charge of developing it. So it can be more faster in the innovation space as well. Yeah, in a way, yes. So there are several aspects that we are actually working on. So the API Hub is one. So this is one direction of development. There are solutions such as FSA, for example, or Commerce Cloud in general, are not put into the API Hub, but are delivered as a solution alone. And they are also delivered on-premise and on cloud. So there are different ways to use it. But then the idea is that you deliver some pieces as a whole solution, some APIs, and then potentially you connect the two.
SAP basically started building the FSA, but we've built now more than they've initially started. So our content is there larger than SAP's portion.
Thank you. Yeah. Actually, it's just so Hybris Commerce has been just renamed. The commerce piece has been renamed. Hybris Marketing has been also renamed, but they will probably be complemented with some additional functionality, coming from other solutions which SAP acquired. Yeah, yeah.
They've already positioned, SAP already positioned it inside the entire, we've deleted that slide where you can actually see the position of SAP customer experience in the entire SAP portfolio, but they are positioning it as their front office commerce solution.
Yeah, most likely because, yeah. This mostly there was a lot of confusion, So when it was only Hybris, it was fine, like SAP Hybris, that's fine. But now you have Hybris Commerce, Hybris Marketing, Hybris Billing. Then with these three new companies, Gigia, Calidus Cloud, Core Systems, the customers didn't actually get a feeling that it was SAP, but it was some other company. And then the SAP didn't have a strong, let's say, market penetration also, partially because of it as well. So that's why I decided to rebrand it completely. They defined a new strategy for the future development, and it's all done as under the SAP name umbrella, at least. Yeah, the traditional SAP CRM, it's, I don't know the exact year, but it's coming to the end of maintenance, I think in 2025, yeah. So now the idea is that all of the future development will not go into the traditional CRM, but it will go either in Marketing Cloud, Sales Cloud, or maybe something in the Commerce Cloud as well. Yeah, Service Cloud as well. So they will all move it up, yeah.
But since the discussion panel is like in 5 minutes, maybe we can talk after it. You can find Lazar and me after the discussion panel, and we can answer all the questions.
Thank you for your attention.
Thanks.